Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fuel for Success, the show that brings you fuel for success. How weird is that? Hey, that's why we named it that, and that's why we're glad that you're with us today, whether you're live or listening, watching later on the archive, or maybe you're reading this 1,000 years from now, transcribed on a clay tablet. Whatever the case is, we're glad that you're with us, and I'm glad that I'm here with my co-host and my best friend, Matt Maddox. How are you this morning, my friend?
Hey man, I'm doing good. I'm excited about today's show is really taking off. Family and relationships, life coaching, etc. Looking forward to talking. I see a lot of, Mike, I love the live community of people that get on and chat and interact, and there's a lot of good content that's shared. The questions, ideas, friendships that have been developed. You know what's funny, Mike? This little chat box over here has actually developed a lot of real friendships across,
It's true.
I want to say across America, but now it's bleeding over into Canada. We're deciding to let Canada into our lives. You know what I mean? Even though the Tampa Bay Lightning put it to the Canadians last night and sent them home. So, what can you say? We still own the Canadians in hockey, but hey, not that most of the Lightning players are actually Canadians. So
Yeah,
anyway.
I was just saying. Yeah, America owns Canada in hockey.
Yeah.
Not so much. So anyway, yeah, we love our Canadian friends. Welcome to all our Canadians. Even Canadians, welcome. I don't know how else to say it. But hey, you're absolutely right, and we get a lot of traction with this show. It's very popular across the YouTube channel, podcasts, and all those things. Everybody loves the relationship stuff, and so we're going to dive in. Actually, Lance brought up a great question. There's been a lot of chatter in the chat box about this, and it's a great question, and you can go a lot of different ways with this, and I want to get your input on this, Matt. Should you offer, and he puts I'll put air quotes, should you offer bribes to your kids to help motivate them?
Never. In my opinion, never. Only because, see, again, Mike, I mean, it depends on the situation, because I literally believe that true parenting starts when a child is a baby. And the Bible says train up a child. Too many parents wait till the kid is, 6. I mean, 6 is almost too late. How you train a child's behavior starts even when they're a baby, when they're 1, 2, the list goes on, right? But that goes deep. So let me give you my answer. You ready? I don't believe in bribing kids, because I believe that means that you're not in control as a parent. And, now bribing, I believe in rewards and consequences. I believe that is a part of motivation. I don't believe in saying, if you'll clean up your room, you can go play with your friends. I believe the message should be clean your room. Not, if you get good grades, if you'll get good grades, we'll let you have your phone back. Again, there's a fine line here, because there is rewards and consequences to a person's behavior. So I'm assuming it's the bribing of like getting a kid to be quiet in the store. Okay, if you'll just be quiet while mommy does this, I'll get you a cookie, or I've seen it happen. I saw it happen yesterday in the grocery store. Funny you should bring this up, Lance. And I thought, man, that's not right. I saw the kid was acting up, and I heard the mom say, listen, if you'll just behave, I'll buy you a candy bar. That's what it was. That's bribing, in my opinion, to get a kid to behave, when in reality, the kid should be trained by the parent that the parent's word is enough. Like, I don't need to bribe my son or daughter. I don't have a daughter. So
Good thing you'd be a mess.
Everybody, I don't have another kid out there somewhere. Anyways, your take on this, Mike?
Well, I actually agree with Carol. I think threats are the way to go, and so get you one of these and threaten your. No, I'm kidding. This is the 5th time we've mentioned this book on the show. Get the book, Well Done, Ken Blanchard, and the positive reinforcement principles that he puts forward. Bribing your kids, I think that using positive reinforcement is a great way to motivate really anyone, not just kids. But it doesn't have to be a bribe. It's amazing how powerful an affirming statement can be. Just telling a kid that they've done a good job can make such a huge difference. And I think if you get to the place where you have to say, listen, I need you to, if you can just behave for the rest of the time that we're in the store, we'll go for ice cream. At that point, something's already broken. Something's fundamentally wrong. And you need to sort of go back and regroup and say, okay, how can we fix this and formulate a plan? At least that's my opinion on it.
No, I agree. That's a very good question, Lance. And just to close up the discussion, just to make it clear, I do believe in rewards and consequences. I really do. I believe that and some people are motivated differently. But I don't believe in bribing. I really don't. I believe it's unhealthy. I believe it's not good. I believe it actually affects your child's long-term relationships with other people. See, we're preparing our kids for adulthood. We're preparing our kids to be unbelievable husbands, wives, mothers, fathers, employees, businessmen, ministers, whatever, we're preparing them for something way beyond being quiet in a store. Like my son and I had like a 2.5-hour chat last night. It was one of those nights we just went and sat on the porch for a few minutes, and it just led to a lot of, and I said, Caleb, some of the small areas that I'm really strict with you on, there's actually a reason for it. There's a strategy for why I teach you even like how to be focused on like, and I'm not going to dive into like, situations, but understand that as parents, we're thinking long term. We're not just thinking for the immediate now. We're thinking that, hey, I'm preparing my child to build character. There it is. So if you got to bribe your kid to do something, Mike said it, it's already broken. You're either enabling a character flaw or you're actually developing a character flaw. Because those kind of people that have to be bribed for behavior end up being horrible husbands and wives and really bad parents, and just they usually get fired from jobs. They usually have entitlement mentality. They don't follow rules. They're really hard to deal with. I know it sounds like, wow, yeah, it's true. Like, faithful in little, faithful over much, unfaithful in little, unfaithful over much. Like that's a biblical principle that, sometimes these little character flaws, it's good that they're dealt with while they're young. Let's put it to you that way. But anyways, that's a whole nother discussion. Mike Hopkins.
Totally agree. Hey, let me jump to another question that came in, and this is actually a great question. And you talked about how we're developing our kids to be good friends and have good relationships later. And one of the things that, sometimes you can end up in a friendship or a relationship. Let's look at a friendship, for example, that maybe is just unhealthy. And you know that the friendship is toxic. You know the situation is bad. If you see that, and I urge everyone to sort of evaluate your friendships and those that are close to you and say, am I in a toxic relationship? Am I in an unhealthy friendship? And if you find yourself in that situation, how do you terminate that friendship? How do you get out of it?
I want to clarify that if any of my friends are on this show right now, that I am not aiming at you with what I'm about to say. I just want to make that clear, okay? Just that
general advice.
All of my current friends are safe. But I've had to do this even in the last 2 months with some people that got into my inner circle through sports and, my son's sports. And because I'm a freak about my inner circle, I'm a freak about my energy. I'm a freak not to allow people with negative energy in my world and even in my son's world. I had to kind of, I don't want to say terminate, but it really was, just pull, set a distance from somebody that was actually a few people that could get into my inner circle. So having said that, this is not easy. It's definitely not easy. And the key word is an unhealthy friendship. And Mike, when you start interacting with people that are unhealthy, see, that's why it's wiser to be careful, who you do let in your inner circle. Not that you're a skeptic, not that you're like, judging every person's little move. It's all about your vibe. It's all about your energy. It's all about a person's attitude. It's all about a person's character. And see, with me, I'm all about character. I'm not about perfect. I'm about character. Sometimes someone that's willing to say they're sorry, to me, shows really good character, even if they have horrible flaws. They're willing to say they're sorry. They're willing to admit they're wrong. So for me, I go deep into like looking at a person's attitude, not always just their actions. Because sometimes a person's actions are just, it's their makeup, it's their personality. But I'm quick to like cut, not because literally, Mike, I do believe that we are going to become the average of the top 5 people we associate with. Right. And like, I live by that. That's one of my core values. It's biblical. The Bible says, he that walks with wise men shall be wise. You know what that means? That means you literally will become what you walk with. So how do you terminate? Sometimes you just got to have that conversation and say, look, I don't feel like we should connect or further a friendship Sometimes, Mike, that's necessary. Most of the time, a pull away is okay, where you just start to pull back a little bit and distance yourself and, kind of like really just pull away. You pull away. I mean, you pull back, you don't start associating and hanging out. And then if they ask the question, it depends on how deep the friendship is, okay? I mean, obviously, yeah. God forbid if Mike and we would never would, because, I really believe our friendship goes till, he dies. So,
Nick's not killing me?
So, either Carol will kill him, or let's see what else.
Yeah,
so, anyway, no. So yeah, how to end a bad friendship, Mike? Sometimes you gotta cut it, and you gotta be clear. It's like death, right? Sometimes, I was in the going to be a police chaplain, and they taught us in our training that when you walk up to the mother's door whose son just got killed in a car accident, you don't say, ma'am, I'm sorry, I have some bad news. Literally, you open the door and you say, hello, wanted to let you know that your son was killed in a car. Like, they teach you to be that direct. Because, Mike, there's something about when you have to end something, when you prolong it, you try to, sometimes you just need to say, look, it's like the Shark Tank. I'm out. Like, in other words, I'm sorry. I don't feel this relationship is healthy for me and my family. I feel that it's best that we cut ties. If you feel you need to give an explanation, go for it. Mike, Mike, you're good at helping kind of break the question open. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm circling a little bit, and I hope I'm helping people in my circling.
I think you are, and I think all across America, in the next couple of days, there'll be several people that will, people will be going to others and saying, our relationship just isn't right, and for that reason, I'm out.
Wow. And for that reason, I unfriended you. To me, Facebook tells all, right? I mean, say Facebook shows if you're still friends, Facebook shows if you're still dating, you're still married.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's actually great. I like there's really a couple of different methods that you're talking about there, but really I think what it boils down to is at the end of the day, you have to settle it in your mind, make the decision internally that you're going to move away from that friendship, because it'd be very easy to get pulled back in and sort of have that, feeling guilty about moving away from a friendship or those sort of things. And you really need to make those decisions, settle them in your mind, answer for yourself the question of why, because it always starts with the why. Like, why do I want to, because of my quality of life, because I want to succeed in areas of maybe business or ministry or whatever, and that person is, a negative influence in my life, answer the question for yourself, why, so that when you make that decision, whether you have to be direct about it or whether you just pull away, in either case, you can stay the course, because you may be, over time, 2 months, 3 months down the road, you may be sort of, people are fickle and they wander back in, and make the decision, stick to it, create a process for yourself if you have to, and don't rely on your feelings and your emotions, because feelings are fickle and will mislead you every time.
Mike, that's some good stuff. What Mike just shared is some really good stuff. I love what you said about not relying on your emotions or your feelings, because, hey, Mike, when we're talking about a friendship, we're talking about someone that we once had great times with, great memories, so yeah, anytime there's a loss, there's pain, there's disappointment, there's regret, there's guilt, there's like, what could I have done differently? Mike, like there are times you outgrow your friends. There are times that you go to a new level and your friends can't understand the new you. There's times when you make health changes, financial changes, success changes.
Right.
And there's many reasons why a friendship can't continue. They change, they don't grow. Mike, you squeeze the toothpaste and whatever is in that toothpaste is what's coming out. And sometimes pressure and problems reveal a person's character. That's why, all these people that I'm seeing on social media, they like meet somebody and they're married like a month later. I'm like, but anyways, Mike, our 11-minute show, I think subconsciously we're turning it into a 20-minute show. So we got like 4 minutes left. So do we have a final question, or you want to dive a little deeper into this, or any other questions in the queue over here, my friend?
I have a related question that is very similar in nature and goes well with this one, and it's about a little different scenario where, like, maybe someone is, let's say someone's watching this, and we'll help you out today. Maybe someone's watching this, maybe you're engaged to be married, and then you sort of realize that it's the wrong decision. Then what do they do? What's the right way to handle that? It's similar to breaking off a friendship, but this is a little different relationship issue.
Mike, that is a unique situation, because this happens in more times than what we realize. Especially with females, because that ring right there, I mean, you know what it's like. That's why, when someone gets engaged, first Instagram picture is usually the hand. It's not even the couple. Yeah. It's usually that
that's
ring
true.
is like a woman's. It's the end all be all. It's like so. I don't want to say it's harder for the ladies, but it might be a little bit harder. Because then that means you got to lose the ring, which is status, which is something that women are very attached to, the engagement ring. But Mike, listen, in my opinion, my friend, if someone is engaged and they realize, wait a minute, we're talking the rest of your life here. We're talking about, marriage nowadays is so watered down, but really it's a lifetime commitment. To me, I really believe in stopping the preparation for the wedding and postponing it. I would say even if it was the week of the wedding, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. If you and because your intuition and your gut feeling never lies. I would say that if there's a true red flag, and you really, and we all get nervousness is normal, okay? It's normal if you get nervous. It's normal if you're just like, oh, I can't believe it, especially for dudes. I mean, okay, so the women, the guys, hey, thank you, bro, appreciate it. What's that? Yeah, right in there. Yeah, well, without, it's cool. Thank you, man. All right, anyway, so what I'm saying is, delivery. What I'm saying is, look, man, if you see a red flag, or you feel like, your gut feeling or your intuition is talking to you, you've got to honor that. You've got to listen to that. You have to, because otherwise, too many people, they don't want to hurt. They don't want to disappoint. I don't want to disappoint his parents. I don't want to disappoint her parents. I want to disappoint. Thank you, man. Oh yeah, here you go. Hold on one second.
Yeah. I love
Well, go ahead, Mike.
the direction I'm going to throw an analogy in here because it fits so well. And I like how you said, even if it's the day or the week of the wedding, hey, listen, I don't know if you saw in the news, but Verizon is looking to acquire AOL. That's a huge business deal. But even in a business deal, right, if they get down to the wire and it's time for them to sign the papers, and I don't want to be, unromantic about it when it relates to marriage, but it really is a business deal, and it's a long-term commitment, just like a business deal. And so if they get down to the wire and they're in the board meeting like to sign the papers, and there's all of a sudden a red flag like, hey, time out, wait a second. I didn't realize that you had all this debt on your books, or I didn't realize that you had this other deal with Time Warner or whatever. If there's some red flag, you know what? They're not signing the paper, even though it's been across the press for weeks, and everybody's expecting it to happen, and the investors are expecting it, and all that. If there's a problem, they're not signing it because they know that they can't back out of it later, and that it's a lifelong commitment. And we need to approach, marriage needs to be approached the same way.
Mike, that's actually really good. And it does. And I want to close the show, Mike, by if you're watching this show and you are engaged and you see red flags, true red flags or warning signs, stop today. Stop. It doesn't mean, maybe it just doesn't mean that it's over forever. Most likely it is, because a red flag is something that, red flags and warning signs are something that usually are pretty strong voices from God himself. Like, I always view red flag as a way that God speaks to us, So then, Mike,
Right.
I would say stop, don't do it, and literally, like, save yourself. Say is heartbreaking, is embarrassing, it's humiliating, because it's all over social media, your family, your friend. It's embarrassing to break off an engagement, right? But
Right,
believe me,
right.
there's two pains. There's the pain of what you're initially going to go through right now, of loss, embarrassment, social status, disappointing family, whatever. Financial loss, trust me, not even close to the pain of a divorce. Especially if you end up proceeding and you have kids, the red flags get worse, my friends. Flaws in a person that you see now in engagement, trust me, they will get 100 times worse in marriage. Trust me. So I would face the lesser of pain. In other words, if I had to decide between, being in a cast for 6 months as opposed to losing my arm, okay, I'd rather be in a cast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always take the lesser of two pains in life. So
I'm giving you a 9.0 on the analogy score.
thanks, Mike.
Oops, I typoed it.
I love you, Mike. You're my boy.
Very good.
Enjoyed hanging with you, my friend. Unless Mary gave me a 9.5, that's not bad. Mike, unless there are any other questions that have come in, I love all the comments. I love what Pacey and Mary both said there. Good stuff. And this is the official show that just wrecked about 17 engagement couples' lives. So we do live coaching.
Or saved them.
You've just gone through an engagement breakup. We're here for you.
We're here.
So check us out, my friends. Hey, we'll be back tomorrow, though. Divorce, yeah, that's 2 shows right there. Hey, we love you guys, and we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 EST. Mike, Mike, why don't you recap the show? Give us a recap of today's content and coaching, my friend.
Don't bribe your kids, and for that reason, I'm out.